Okay. All right, here we go. This is we're going to do a session here today where we're bringing some questions from Maria and doing a little intuitive reading, guidance, seeing what happens in the next 30 or 40 minutes or so, some quantum release around any blocks for anything that might come up for her benefit. And so just seeing what happens. So I want to start by saying thank you for showing up for yourself today. That's such a gift to you. Anytime we take one step closer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there a question or a focus that you'd like to work with today? Is there something on your heart?
I could use, I could use more clarity. Where to go right now with, I know this is a very popular thing with finances. But for me, it's different. I normally go on to deeper things, but right now in my life, what I think I need clear and guidance with is where to take the next step in my career.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. So let's see how we can frame this for a question. Is it very specifically about?
I feel okay. So I'll
Let's
clear
have
it
a
up
little.
for you. Yeah. So I don't know whether or not I should I don't know whether or not I should stay where I'm at right now for my job.
Okay.
I'm a hairstylist and my body is starting to respond negatively to it, even though I'm taking care of my body.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a sign. And
Something in there.
I'm looking for something more 5D to make money with,
Right. Right.
Basically.
Let's we'll come back to that. Uh, Exploring what that means to you too. Hold on one second. I got to grab my notebook.
Yeah.
But before we explore that, let's just see what comes through.
Sure.
Sorry, I shifted my seating arrangement right before this and realized I don't have a place for my notebook. Okay.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, beloveds, let's go here. All right. So as we are working with this, I've got a few different oracle cards that I like to work with that provide a lot of different texture and variation, and then I receive most of the messages I receive come through either with sort of pictures in my mind or through sound. I hear words. And then sometimes I open and it comes through. So we'll see what happens. But just around, let's focus first kind of on the first part of this question. And calling in your highest self, your highest aspects as pertains to you walking through this world right now and what's coming up for you and how to make a shift and what that shift might look like, so that we're here to live our optimal lives, right? And you've probably done some of that and probably avoided some of it. So let's see where the next thing is. Beautiful time to do it too, right? The day before the eclipse.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, there's we're bringing in your all the guidance whatever that means for you. Going right to source connection for you, your source connection, my source connection, open channel. A perspective to assist you as you're making a consideration of a big change. Okay. Okay. And there we go. All right. So this is where we're starting and really addressing the question of what might be next if you're shifting away from, hairdressing, or if your body's trying to tell you to make some shifts to support it better, what it might be. So the first card that came up is Odin. Now this deck, I love this deck. Specifically, you're asking about, shifting into maybe a higher frequency of work and play for yourself, right? And
Right.
it's called Keepers of the Light. Kyle Gray created these cards, and I love that guy. He's the angel whisperer, right? And much, much more. That's where he began, and now he's on to his next evolution. But so this is really a deck of ascended masters, and we can look at these as aspects that we contain within us, aspects that we hold and have access to. So the first thing that comes up is Odin, and speaking about psychic insight. Okay. So Odin was prepared to do whatever it took to reach his highest level, right? Even giving up an eye, giving up an eye in order to see more clearly from the soul aspect. Probably we don't need to do that. We don't need to give up a limb or a body part anymore, but so it's talking about your third eye is open. What does this say? I don't know. See truth for what it is and follow your intuition. And so that's telling me is, let's lean into what your body is maybe indicating to you, right? It's going through a harder time. You're probably getting some, it's telling you our bodies are gauges of what's going on in our world, and trying to communicate to us, often with like where our resistance is, so maybe there's some, when there's uncertainty, even if there's excitement around what comes next, it's like we meet ourselves with a lot of resistance, and we stay stuck until the body's screaming.
Right.
Right,
Absolutely.
uh
It's just following my intuition right now is just, this is the one area where I just feel lost, and everything else, if I live from the heart and the rest of my life, this is like one decision that I have to make where I feel like it's tough to make it from the heart.
Yeah.
My intuition is not, I don't know.
What does your heart say? What does your heart say? What is your heart's desire?
It
As much
says
as
to
you
sit
care to
down
share.
and write. No, I'm trying to think of it honestly. It's I love interacting with people, and that's what I love about my job. But on other days, not so much. Which are the days that I like to write and do that type of work. But I'm very inconsistent with, I know it. I haven't thought exactly what I want to do.
Okay.
To make that leap, I guess, that first
Right.
jump and knowing.
Yeah. And that there was this person, he's just coming to mind. He comes to mind a lot. It was, I followed this young man years ago when he was just starting out, and his greatest guidance, and I still think it's one of the most valuable pieces of insight, is just follow your curiosity day by day. Don't worry about it having a 5-year plan. That's out the
Right,
window anyways, right? Just follow your
right.
curiosity and show up for yourself. When you show up for yourself, like when you grab that notebook and pen or your
Mhm.
laptop or whatever, just show up, even if it's for a paragraph, a sentence.
Right,
That's all you have to do to explore that or anything else.
right.
Um,
I love
and
that.
then noticing, right? When we take action, notice how our body feels
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
notice where we're blocked in that, right? Maybe it's a step, but it's not the thing. I do a lot of
Right,
things. It's impossible for me to pin down to one thing, right? So I
right, right, right.
maybe there's before you can often leap into the unknown, right? You have to get really comfortable with testing. Do you like
Okay.
showing up for
Yeah,
yourself day by day
right.
with a pen in hand? So maybe
Yeah.
developing a little consistency there to, because if I were to say, quit your job tomorrow and start writing, right?
Right.
uh,
Right.
where do you feel that in your body? Let's say
Yeah,
that
my stomach. My
your,
stomach.
your
Like,
stomach.
where do I mean, it makes me nervous to think that if I was just to quit my
Yeah.
job tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take a moment. Each of these sessions I do is completely unique
I
to the
guess,
person, right? So
right, right,
let's take a
absolutely.
moment and notice your belly, and I'm going to do just a little bit of energy work there.
Sure.
Hmm. I'm noticing as I drew these cards too and reflecting on what you said, um, there's there's almost some steps laid out here, and I'll share those in a minute. But it really goes from sort of taking action.
Mhm.
Odin is about insight, but he took steps toward the divine. He took steps toward knowing himself, toward knowing his divine self, his divine path, his path of being. There was action involved, right? So it's not
Right,
just about receiving information, it's about
yes,
doing with it, doing
right,
and
right,
being.
absolutely.
Saint,
Embodying.
yeah, Saint Germain came up next,
Hmm.
uh, releasing karma. So moving beyond drama and
Hmm.
creating your own path. I want, that's the beauty is in this time, as much as any, but absolutely in this time, there are many ways to write. And forge a path for yourself, right? There are people who write books, articles, stories. There are people who receive messages and share them. There are people who do copywriting, there's many ways in the creative realm. If we start to look at all of it as creative and then what's most satisfying, sometimes we might surprise ourselves because we have a notion of what it is, and
that makes sense. Yes.
let me see what this says. See if there's anything in particular. One thing that stands out was Saint Germain. It says he helps us move beyond social limitations to connect with the right people for the highest good. And so there's something in there perhaps about connecting with people, sharing what you want to do, because in sharing that and speaking that out loud, whether it's to one person or two people or total strangers you meet waiting in line, right? But
Right.
claiming it for yourself
Yes.
and getting comfortable with stating it with confidence, that goes, noticing where you feel wobbly. That felt really brave and gutsy to say, or they're going to think I'm crazy. Who cares what anybody thinks, right?
Right. Right. Oh yeah.
What does that feel like for you?
It's funny that you said that, because just I'm finding my voice, and I just had a problem with speaking my mind to my boss, my district manager, because nobody else would say anything. And I said it, in kind ways or whatever, but she was more, we were looking for solutions for something, and she was more concerned about arguing her point than helping us fix it, and that's been an ongoing thing in our work. And so I just I spoke up in a nice way, and I mean, it worked out fine, but it just reminded what you just said about, who cares what anybody else thinks. That was almost exactly how I felt about that situation. Like, everybody was tiptoeing around it, and yeah, so it felt good to do that.
Yeah,
But that's unlike me as well.
but that's beautiful, right? So in releasing the pattern of normally being quiet, when you felt there was a need to step up and step in, you're
Right.
stepping into your confidence, and it sounds like you were doing your best to come from your heart about it.
Right.
And
Right.
you know karmic releasing, right? Releasing the pattern, the habitual pattern maybe of
Okay. Right.
being quiet, right? Opening the throat
Right. Open throat.
and the heart. A person can do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, it really is about old patterns leaving your life and
Yes.
creating space for the new thing to enter. And the new thing is the thing which you determine it is, right?
Right. Right.
For myself, over and over, it's almost comical in the last few months. It's been, and reading through journals from a year ago, I'm in the middle of a project, and the same message has been coming through for a year of make a decision and go. You are fully supported. You are supported.
Right.
It may not happen in the timeline that we think it should happen there, but
Right. Yes.
the more
Surrendering
steps we take. Yeah.
in action, in a way. I need to know when to surrender and when to take action. That's something I've noticed as well. Come up for me when to know when to do each of them, either surrender or take action. That seems, yeah, seems to be a repetitive message coming up as well, or unsureness about it.
Right. Well, maybe that's what leads to the next. So let me just show you Saint Germain here. So you see lots of beautiful, a lot of amethyst, right?
Beautiful.
Uh, the violet flame, right? Are you familiar with
Yes,
that? Right.
absolutely.
You know, cutting the cords of the past, taking it, putting it on the violet flame to burn away the karmic
Right,
pattern.
right.
But so to know when,
Absolutely.
the
Hmm.
next card that came up was charity, which is prayer and contemplation, right? So whatever that means for you, connecting to source, connecting to yourself, speaking with yourself, almost like outside of worry and concern.
Right.
Uh, so
Yes.
it literally says, connect with heaven, ask and you shall receive.
Amazing.
It is that simple.
It really is, isn't it? It's that simple. I tend to, stop myself when I think about it too much. It's just the simplicity is beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is.
Let's take a moment here. As you feel in your body, I invite you to close your eyes
Sure.
and notice in your body when you think about asking or stating what is your next path, stating what you are most curious and excited to explore next. Notice if there's anywhere in your body that, it comes up like some discomfort or any sort of strong sensation.
I would say in the chest, actually.
In the chest. Okay. All right. So let me do a little bit of clearing around that. And when you feel it on a scale of 1 to 10, was where 10 being sort of super tight and constricted or painful, and 1 being very free and loose and open. Where do you?
4.
4. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as I'm working with the energy, what I'd like you to do, I'm going to give you a task, if you so choose, to imagine yourself in that your writing nook, doing the thing you love. Doesn't matter, skill level doesn't matter anything, right? You're just having a
Right.
good time creating, connecting, communicating. Just bring that whole feeling right into your heart while I work with the energy. We're amplifying that feeling of joy, of playful fun, of exhilaration. Mm. Now asking that Maria open and receive the insight she needs to move forward and do whatever that next first step is. Just one step closer to that feeling day in, day out, no matter what she's doing. Allowing herself to be surprised with the gifts that are coming as she appreciates herself more, appreciates that she is more than she has been. And what she has been is great. It's beautiful. It is enough. And knowing that there is also the next level, that next tier of expansion, of seeing even more parts of herself and getting comfortable at the pace that she needs to take it. No guilt, no remorse, no doubt, no shame, no hesitance. Everything in its right and appointed time. Noticing now, if you will, if has it shifted anywhere? Has it increased, decreased, that sensation in the chest?
Oh, it's decreased. It's gone. It's amazing. It feels very light now. Thank you. Wow, what a release.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Mhm.
Thank you. All right. Well, because we're gonna stop the recording now,
Mhm.
but you and I can talk for a few minutes. So
Sure.
thank you for being willing to share like this. Somebody's going to be beyond blessed because of your willingness to show up. I know that for
Thank
certain.
you.
And you.